What's up, y'all? This is Trav from WeGotBeats.com, and today I just want to do another beat making video with my new free sample pack, Vinyl Treats Volume 1, Volume 2. You can get it for free off my website, WeGotBeats.com, into your email, and a link will be sent to your email. So, without further ado, first thing before I get into this beat, I noticed on my other videos the sound quality wasn't up to snuff. I didn't really like it, so today I have my headphones on, and I typically don't like making beats with my headphones on. I don't feel the power on the kick and the snap and the snare. I like using my monitors, but we'll see how this works today, and I might go back and forth on this recording using my headphones and not. So if the quality gets bad, just know that I'm hearing it on my monitors and I don't have my headphones in. So without further ado, here's the sample that I picked out. So yeah, it's a nice Japanese soulful type sample. It's got the lush strings, the Wurlitzer, nice brass section, a guitar. If you want those Japanese soulful library type records that are easy to clear, that are all original, you definitely want to pick up this free sample pack. So the first thing I want to do is that the BPM and key is attached to all these samples. It's 98 beats per minute, and we're going to be doing this beat in double time. So I want to pitch this up quite a bit, and we're going to do a boom bap style beat, and I'm going to get into some tips and tricks on how to make your drum sound nice and boom bappy. So let's come over here to pitch shift, and I think 7 would be nice. Let's listen to that. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to try something a little bit different. You can drag this whole sample into the playlist, right? And then what you could do is just slice, slice, slice. Now, if I was on my MPC, I might, go in and chop it and do some, different flipping shit. But since this is on FL Studio, I'm just going to use the loop. And we're going to drag this down. We'll speed up the tempo a little bit and see what we got. Hopefully we don't have any pops. Alright, so everything sounds nice. I don't hear any pops. So, for this first part of the tutorial, I'm going to take off my headphones, and I'm going to turn up the monitors so I can hear the drum pattern. If I can hear the drum pattern and make a bass line, then I'll put on my headphones and I'll let you hear it how it normally should sound. So let's find some drums. I'm gonna come down here. I really like the somatic drill kicks. They're nice and punchy. And let's loop this first part. Come to pattern 1, drag that into the playlist, and we're gonna get into some boom bap type drums. I think I want. Actually, first thing I want to do is I want to put this in the mixer so I can hear the drums better. Okay, so here's the first little trick that you can use. You want to put that on 16th triplets. So in FL terms, that would be on the 3rd beats. So let's come here into the piano roll, and we can do something like this. We can do something like this. Mess with the velocities a little bit. Alright, so I kind of like that, the way it's going right there. And then let's find a snare or a rim shot. Kind of like that. And these snares are from the Low Bap 3 Cookin' Soul kit that you can get off Drum Broker. I'm going to mess with the start time a little bit and put these in. Yeah, like that. And another trick you can do is you can come and select all the snares, go to none on the quantize, and you can push this a little bit forward. Yeah, like that. And let's mess with the velocities. And now let's find a hi-hat, or maybe, you know, like a jingle bell or something. Yeah, like that. So, one more tip about making your drum pattern sound more boom bap is that when you go and lay down your bell, you know, your jingle bell or your hi-hat, I have my MIDI controller right here in front of me, and I'm gonna put the quantize on none, and I'm just gonna do it a little bit off grid so that it has that human feel to it. So come down here to notes and automation. Let's record this. Let's take a listen to that. Nice. Okay, so I'm going to put on my headphones at this point so you can listen to how it sounds without the, you know, delay in the recording. Yeah, that's hard. Add a open hi-hat right before the snare. So yeah, our basic beat is now done. I'm gonna go ahead and throw these into the mixer. And I'm going to do some gain staging at this point before we add a bass line. So, like I said in my previous videos, you can do this season to taste. This is not like a hard and fast rule or anything. You always want to use your ear first, but I like to have my sample sit about -9. So see that it's it's peaking a little bit above 9, which is fine. And now the kick, I like to put at -6, about -6. Turn that down a little bit. Turn the snare up. And the bell. And the open hi-hat. Alright, so now that we got that, I'm going to turn off, I'm going to turn down my headphones, turn up the monitor so I can hear this bass line. And then I'll put the stuff back, I'll put my headphones back on so you can listen to how I mix this. So, I think what I'm going to do is, I'm going to come over here to Boo Bass. Sometimes this works, sometimes it don't. We're going to try it though. First thing I want to do is I want to come over here to the parametric EQ and choose my sample EQ preset, which is boosting some of the highs and ducking 100 hertz so the kick can shine through. But what I want to do is I want to filter out that bass. I want to filter that out a little bit because I don't want that clashing with the bass line that I'm about to put in. So I think that's the bass line right there. So let's that's an A. Hold on. Turn that off. And actually I'll go ahead and record it because it'll be easier if I record this. Alright, and then we'll quantize this, make sure everything's on grid. And we're going to turn it down, the octave, a little bit. And I hit a sour note. So I think that sounds a little, I think that's nice. We're going to put this in its own mixer track and turn that down a little bit. And we're going to filter out a lot of that high end on the bass. And we're going to use the R bass. Turn this down. You want to make that bass about -10. And now I'm going to put on my headphones. All right. So we have our basic beat. Let's go ahead and mix this. So the first thing I want to do is let's mute this. Actually, you know what? I want to try one thing before I commit to this bass. I want to try one more thing. Maybe this would sound good. Nah. We're going to keep the boot bass. Actually, you know what? I think I do want to change the boot bass preset. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Let's replace that with, we'll come to sample tank. We'll make sure this bass is right. And we're going to come to sample tank 3, bass. And we're going to choose the Motown bass. Listen to how this sounds. There we go. Yeah, that works. We can actually turn that up a little bit. And I think I'll lower that an octave. There we go. Alright, now that sits well. That's good now. Sometimes you just gotta experiment with shit. Do what sounds right in your ear. So the first thing I want to do is I want to mix this sample. I'm going to come to the SSL EV2 compressor from Waves. And I'm going to come down to sample. I have a sample preset. And what this is doing is it's at 6.1, 8.1, my bad. 8.1, basically limiting the sample. And then it's got a 0 threshold and a little bit longer release. And I did some EQing right here. So the next thing I want to do is I want to come to the Bit Crusher. Now this Bit Crusher plugin is for free. You can download it for free online, and I'll put a link to it down in the description. Yeah, that's nice. Next, we're going to come to the bass line, and we already got the basic highs filtered out. We got the R bass on it. I'm going to compress it with the EV2. Yeah, I like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing. Put the Bit Crusher on this. Turn it down a little bit. Make sure it's hitting about -10. -9 actually sounds pretty good. Alright, and now we're going to come to the kick. Let's put the parametric EQ on the kick. And this is just boosting that 100 hertz frequency that we ducked on the bass and the sample so that it can really shine. And then we're going to come to the DBX 160 mono. And this is going to really make your kicks and snares really shine if you get this plug-in. I really like that. And now it's sitting at -3. And now we're going to do the same thing with the snare. Choose the DBX 160. Yeah, this is sound nice. And usually I don't do much processing on the hi-hats and open hi-hats, but if I have to, I'll kind of sculpt the low ends a little bit so that it doesn't get too muddy down there. And let's take a listen to this. Yeah, I really like that. The one thing I forgot to do, we got to put the Bit Crusher on here. And we can turn this kick up a little bit now. Do the same for the snare. And the bell. And the open hi-hat. Alright, now what we gotta do is kind of glue the bass and the drums together. So I'm gonna add a channel for parallel compression, make that red. And we're going to come to the Pewtech EQ. And I'm going to choose my parallel compression preset, which is just going to boost 100 hertz and 12 kilohertz. And we're going to select, well, actually, let's come to the R compressor first before we do that. And this is basically just limiting the drums at a 10 ratio. So let's take the bass and all the drums, route to this track, and we're going to tuck it underneath. Listen to how this sounds. Yeah, I like that. Now what I want to do now is I'm going to take off my headphones and listen to it on the monitors. Yeah, that's good. Alright. So I'm on the right track. This beat is pretty much done. What I'm going to do now, what I want to do now is I want to listen to what I have on this whole beat with the drums. So let's hear it from the top. Yeah. Yeah, this is gutter. Alright, so we got a really good basic beat. Now we need to, the first thing I need to do before anything else, I'm going to go ahead and put the bass underneath the sample. And what we're going to do is we're going to split the bass and drums onto their own respective pattern. So let's do that first. And then we're going to take patterns from 2 to 4. Copy and paste this all the way through. And do that for the entire basic beat. Alright, so I know that this first loop is going to be in the verse. And this is going to be the hook. So I'm going to bring this up. Make that 8 bars, bring these down, loop it, and try to get a feel for how I want the verse to sound. Yeah, okay, so we're on the right path. I'm going to make this the last 4 bars of the verse, and we're going to copy and paste the drums and bass. Alright, so we got a basic beat now. Let's listen to it from the top. Yeah, I like this. And notice there's like a climax and resolution on the verse going into the hook. Listen to this. Hold on. That's the wrong loop. It's this one. This is the resolution. And then it'll go into the hook. If you pay attention to that, that's a key in arrangement. So what I want to do now is I kind of want like a... let me show you what I mean. It's better to show you than try to explain. We're going to take these last 2 bars on the verse, and what I want to do, actually, we'll make this a little bit more. Okay, so we got it chopped up into 4 pieces. Now, why am I doing that? It's because I want to do this. I want to have a... Hold on. Get rid of this. And then we'll mute the sample and bass. So like a... And then add a reverb at the end. So let's go ahead and copy and paste what we have, so that we have that hook that we're going into. And then we're going to highlight and loop the last bar of the verse and the first bar of the hook. And we're going to come to snare. We'll bring the bit crusher down on the list. And we're going to choose Fruity Reverb 2. And I have a preset called Snare Verb, which is basically just a rendition of the Venue preset. All I did was I boosted the high cut all the way up, and I messed with the low cut, and that's pretty much it. And we're gonna mute that, create an automation clip, and we're gonna put our points here, and where the snare comes back in on the on the hook. There we go. So that sounds really nice. Let's bring the automation clip down here. And then I'm gonna make this just like I did yesterday. I kind of fuck with the arrangement like I did yesterday. 3 hook, 2 verse song with an 8-bar outro. So let's put the automation clip here. Make sure that's in the right place. All right, that sounds good. And then get rid of that on the end and select these last 8 bars. And then we're going to create an automation clip and fade it out. And now we got a beat. We basically have the beat done at this point. Now what we got to do is process the master channel. Now, something I brought up yesterday that I should bring up today is you're probably wondering why I'm putting the bit crusher on the individual tracks. Why don't I just put it on the master and be done with it? Well, if you do that and you render out your track outs, when you render out those track outs, the bit crush ain't going to be on the individual tracks. It's just going to be on the master. So you're going to have to put the bit crusher on every single individual track that you want it on, so that when you render it out, it stays on there. So I think that's a very important thing to keep in mind when you're doing these types of beats. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come to Parametric EQ 2, choose my master preset, which is just rolling off that 20 hertz and the 20 kilohertz, the high highs and the low lows. And then we're going to come to the SSL comp, and we're going to choose the Dave Pensado 1, get rid of the analog, and we're going to listen to this. Alright. So we're a little bit above, we're clipping a little bit, but it still sounds good. So we're going to come to the L1 limiter. The out ceiling is going to be 0.1 auto release, and then we're going to load up the meter. And I like to keep my beats anywhere between -12 and -8 dB. So I think we can push this about 1 dB. I'm going to listen to this on the speakers real quick. Yeah, that sounds nice. So basically I'm just preserving the dynamics a little bit which, you know, in hip hop, it's not, you know, as demanding as, you know, other music, but I do like dynamics in my music, so that's why I try to keep it a little bit hot, but not too hot. So this is the beat. I'm really fucking with this. I hope you're fucking with it. And we're just gonna sit here, vibe out, and then we'll be done for today. Alright, so basically that's the beat. I hope you guys got some value out of this video. If you want this sample plus 12 more, I urge you to go to my website, WeGotBeats.com, download the Vinyl Treats Volume 1 and Volume 2 sample pack if you want those soulful Japanese library-style samples, all original, easy to clear. You just gotta hit me up. But you can get this totally for free off my website. All I ask is for your email, and it'll be sent to your email. So I hope you guys had a good day. Take care.